And we're off. Welcome everyone. Give me a second while I get my bearings here. I've lost my Zoom window with the chat. There we go. Um, I was just telling Alex here, he's our special guest today, that I am currently working from home, even though I used to normally work from home. I took everything to the office and now I'm working from home because I'm snowed in. So we got a ton of snow here in Texas. So I'm just thankfully glad to be here. Anyway, go ahead and drop a line from the chat from us. We'd love to hear how you guys are doing. What's new, what's going on. It's been a minute. I feel like this is our first webinar of the new year, so excited to be
Oh, wow.
back. I know, right? Yeah. Yeah, so this is 2026. We're just getting things started. Welcome, Olga from is it AKA? Forget that one if it's Arkansas or Alaska.
Arkansas, I think. Yeah, yeah.
Alaska. Oh, it's Alaska. Okay.
Oh, it's Alaska.
We
Oh,
were both
sorry.
wrong. Thank you. Mark from the UK. Oh, yeah, excellent. Felicity from Scotland and Katharina from Germany. Welcome. Happy to have you all here. Well, while everyone's filtering in, we're going to give everyone, 5, 10 minutes. Sorry, 5 minutes to get in here. So bear with us. While we're waiting for everyone to come in, I wanted to ask this question. What's your favorite special edition book that you've seen or owned? Okay. And I think I'll start out here with I buy a lot of these cool little special edition kind of books. I got a nice Sherlock Holmes like tome. It's like a gilded, sprayed gold edges right on it. It's like a leather bound book. It's beautiful. Um, those kind of books, I just love them. I stick them on my wall. I just
Yeah,
listen
yeah.
to be honest. I just listen to books most days. I listen to the
Yeah,
whole thing and I occasionally open it up and like, oh yeah, that looks nice. Yeah, and then I close it and put it back on the shelf. What about you, Alex? Do you have a favorite?
I'm a bit of an F1 nerd, so I
Oh,
went to a author signing event with Zach Brown, who's the CEO of McLaren. So he did a
wow.
special edition of his kind of not autobiography, but it was a bit about the team and signed it, and so that sits pride of place downstairs. But like you, I got it done to read and then couldn't open it because I didn't want to damage it, so bought the ebook, and yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
so two sales, I guess.
Yeah, that's how I see it. And, as authors, that's a good thing. I mean, I do like the idea of this my book being like a bit of home decor, right? It looks pretty.
Yep,
You can pull it out, you can look at it, and it's a beautiful thing. But that's a precious thing. I would buy a regular paperback book just to read if I'm going to read it, or I'd buy the
exactly that.
ebook and
Yep.
just read it like that. So anyway, yeah, it's a great way to for an author to kind of diversify a little bit here, right?
Yeah, yeah. I have to admit, I'm for working at a book printers. I'm awful with books. I kind of really open them. I break the spine. So yeah, I'm not doing that for special edition. So
Yeah. Oh, I get it. Well, let's see what some other people are saying here. We've got Jane Austen illustrated by Marjolin B. Watch Me by Tahira Mafi. Fortunately, I'm not familiar with any of these books. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. That's a good one. That's an old one. Agatha Christie, the Complete Hercule Poirot series. I'm sorry if I'm butchering the names of these classic books, even though I know that one very well. Janet's asking question. What is Bookvault Bespoke? So good news. You're gonna find out today. Alex is gonna tell you all about what Bookvault Bespoke is, and I think you're really gonna like it. I'm a big fan of what they do. It's really cool. You're gonna love it. So, you know what? It's been about 5 minutes. Let me just jump right in here and let's get this party started. And I'll turn it over to Alex, and he can tell you all about what Bookvault Bespoke is all about. Okay. So here we go. Oops. Before I go and do jump ahead of myself, I just want to say welcome everyone to our January 2026 Scrivener webinar series brought to you by the creative minds behind Scrivener and Scalpel, Literature and Latte. I'm Oliver Evanson, your host today, bringing you insights from over 15 years of writing and Scrivener expertise. Now, whether you're a seasoned author or just starting out your writing adventure, our webinars are designed with your needs in mind. And today we'll be exploring how to unlock the power of special editions with special edition books with Book Vault Bespoke with our very special guest speaker, Alex Smith. Now, I will be moderating the session today, so if you encounter any technical difficulties, please reach out to me in the Q&A or the chat. Either way should be fine. I'll keep an eye on both of them for you. So here we go. Okay. Now, before we dive right into the training, I just want to make sure that everyone's set up to win this week. I've designed this series to give you the tools and the clarity you need to take action. So let's take a look at your roadmap for the next few days. So we've got today, of course, unlocking the power of special editions. So we're going to have right now. Coming up this week, this Wednesday, we'll also be diving into unlocking series potential by authoring multiple books in Scrivener at 12 p.m. CT Central this Wednesday. And then on Friday, we'll also be talking about crafting a writing routine that actually works at 11 a.m. CT. So I will get those links to you just in a minute. So hang tight. If you haven't registered for those yet, I will get those in the chat and just as soon as I get the ball rolling here. And of course, some other important links and things you may need access to. We have this webinar is being recorded. Okay, so you can access that at literaturelatte.com/library. You can also find my links right there, ogevanson.com/links for our free starter novel template and other resources and tools. And if you need help, anything Scrivener related, please reach out to us. Those emails right there, Scrivener/Mac and Scrivener/win at literaturelatte.com. And now, without further ado, I'm going to turn it right over to Alex, and he's going to take the wheel here and get you what you need to know all about special edition books. Go ahead, Alex. The time is yours.
Perfect.
Oh,
Sorry,
wait.
just in time
Go
because my
ahead. Go
headphones
ahead.
died.
Oh, bummer. Here we go.
There we go. Perfect. Let me just
Okay.
share my screen. There we go. So thank you all for joining us. So unlock the power of special editions with Bookvault Bespoke. So my name is Alex. I'm the brand manager for Bookvault. I don't know if you said this, but I'll say it again. So I've been working with Bookvault for 8 years now. So I started off as an apprentice, worked my way up through the company. I kind of did a lot of work downstairs with the can you see? Yeah, with the production machinery and things like that. So I know a lot about the books, and kind of that's why I'm here to help people understand and kind of take them on their author journey. So I'll start off with get that there. A fact that I really like to show. So when we talk about bespoke books, it's not the thing that you can normally sell on the likes of Amazon or with Ingram or things like that. You've got to take slightly different routes. So when we talk about the selling bespoke books, we look at selling direct, and selling direct is something that a lot of people don't feel is achievable. But this survey from the Independent of Authors shows from March March the 27th, 2023. 12.61% of people were making more than 50% of their income selling direct. And it shows that, it's not just directed at the few, it can be achieved by many. And I would expect by now that to have been even higher. I'm waiting for the latest one to come out by the independent authors. So to start off with, just to add a bit of validity to who we are and what we do, just so I'm not just some random guy Oliver's picked up off the street. We are Print Bookvault. We're part of a much larger company called Print on Demand Worldwide, based in the UK, and we've been operating for 3 decades. So we obviously run Bookvault, but Bookvault's not our only business. We have our own printing presses. I work just above them. I'm not there now, but we work just above them, and we operate all the machinery and kind of get books out as and when customers order them. So you can see some images on the right. We're pretty innovative in the way that we operate. So we were one of the first to introduce what we call inkjet printing. So you'll see there on the bottom right there, you've got a printer with what looks like a massive toilet roll on the end. We were the first company to offer that on a print on demand basis, and that's a big part about what we are. And you'll see when we talk about bespoke books, we really like to look outside the box to help drive down costs, but also bring innovative features that help authors earn more. So our mission, we like to have a bit of a mission statement, is to offer an all-in-one print platform producing quality books that help you earn more. And that's what I mentioned. It's one of those that, a lot of authors have been around with Amazon and Ingram for a while, and they're fantastic platforms, but we don't see them evolving. And that's why we wanted to jump in and offer some new things that they can't offer and help you earn more money along the way. I mentioned we've been going for 3 years. So we traditionally worked with academic publishers. So we worked with the likes of Bloomsbury and Taylor and Francis and things like that. And I always say we work with academic publishers. It's textbooks with lots of pictures of spots on. And it's all very boring work. During COVID, we took a step back, redeveloped the platform and built it into what it is now, and targeted more authors and smaller to medium publishers as well, which means we get some really exciting books. And it's a big step forward. When I first started the business, walking down and seeing books about spots and rubbish stuff, whereas now we're seeing some really nice and beautiful works by authors. I mentioned we're a little bit different. So we, as a baseline, offer a few more options than the likes of Ingram and KDP. So we offer 6 different bindings. So very similar to those, we offer standard trade paperback and hardback. But we also offer some more innovative features or more different features as well. So in terms of bindings, we offer what we call coil and wire bound books. And what they're great for is if you're writing a series, for instance, you want a notebook to go along with it. They lay flat, so they're really nice for that. So again, it's all about taking your books but earning more from selling them. We offer cloth books as well. So you'll see when you go to bookstores and with special editions, they're normally like a cloth feel or a leatherette feel. We offer that with foil stamping. And we also offer saddle stitch booklets. So they're effectively stapled booklets. And that's a great thing for if you're doing a novella. You can have that as a physical novella. Where it's too thin to be a paperback book, a saddle stitch works great. And it enables you to give a physical product out. We've even seen some people order 100 to take to a book fair and hand out as well. So it's a great way of looking at different things, of way to do bindings as well. We offer 7 different paper stocks. So you'll be used to the tradition of Amazon and KDP with either your white or cream kind of trade paper. We also offer some slightly different options as well. So I mentioned about our inkjet press and how it's kind of fed by a toilet roll. That enables us to get some different types of papers. So we offer a coated stock. And what that is with special editions, when you're wanting to put images, we'll go into it a bit more in the presentation, but nice pictures within the book. Coated stocks help make books pop. So whereas a normal printer paper is very matte and you kind of just get it how it comes, coated stocks have a treatment on the top to make them glossy, and it makes the colors look really great. And that's the whole thing. When you're selling special editions and when you're selling direct, you are the retailer and you want to offer the best quality product for your readers. And that's what we really try and do. And the final thing, it's not really something I'd advise every author to do, but we offer millions of potential sizes as well. So you can literally define your size. And I'm showing my inner British here, but it's anything from A5, which is 148 by 210, all the way to 297 by 297 millimeters. So around kind of, I think it's 14 inches. I'm off with my inches and millimeters there. Obviously, with standard books, the biggest question always is what's the cost? So, as a rule of thumb, I generally say that we are a little bit more expensive than Amazon KDP, and we're relatively on par, if not a little bit low, Ingram there for pricing. There's reasons to that. We could match KDP's pricing, but what we like to focus on, I mentioned it about being your brand, we like to focus on making a lot kind of higher quality product. So we use more premium papers, we use more ink on the page. So we've even had customers comment about how our blacks look blacker. And that's kind of by charging that a little bit more, we're able to give more of a premium filled product. Equally, we offer shipping. So we ship locally from the UK, US, Canada, and Australia. There's certain things that certain facilities can't do, but we kind of offer that for standard paperbacks and hardbacks. The special editions, which we'll talk about, are shipped from the UK, but we're able to ship worldwide and at affordable costs as well. There's some example prices on there. I won't go through them line by line, but it's important to say that each book is different. So we have a quoting tool, quote.bookvault.app, and effectively that enables you, before you even create an account, to put your specifications in. And it will tell you exactly how much it's going to cost to print and ship your book as well. So the worst thing we want to do is make you sign up to our platform and then you not like the cost. So you can do that before you even get started as well. Just some final things as well, as a bit of an overview about business, is why people choose Bookvault. So one of the biggest things I like to stress is you have access to a team of experts who will help you on your journey. So we get a lot of comments from other people that it's all very faceless. They can't speak to someone. That's a big thing that we really strive for. So we have a contact us page on our website. You can book an actual dedicated Zoom meeting with one of the team. So if you've got some questions and you want to go over it over a 5-minute chat, we can do that. Equally, all our support tickets are actually dealt with by humans as well. So at the moment, we getting emails back within about 1 working day, or during peak periods like Christmas, it takes around 2 working days. But you're actually getting a response from someone, and it's someone who knows what they're talking about as well. We do a lot of cross training. So when someone starts at our facility, we tell them to go down into production and work down there for a week, just so they get an idea of how it all works. Because the worst thing you want to do is someone that's never seen a printing press tell you what to do with your files. We accept KDP files as well, so you don't have to adhere them to any templates. Our papers bulk around the same, so generally what works for KDP will work for Bookvault. Certainly, if you've got a very defined spine, and what I mean by that is, say you've got a yellow front and back cover and a green spine down the middle, we'd recommend you doing a proof just to make sure it looks fine. But generally, most files are completely fine between both ourselves and KDP. And then the final thing I mentioned earlier is we're always commended on our print quality compared to other services as well. So it's a real important one for us. We don't want to produce horrible books, and that's why we focus on that. So when we talk about bespoke books, as I mentioned, really the best place to sell them is direct. So we'll cover a little bit about why you should sell direct, and then go into special editions, how they get set up, and how we can help you make them as well with Bookvault Bespoke. So the three big reasons why people should sell direct is you own the customer. So you cut out the middleman, and they're no longer, when someone buys your book on Amazon, you're making a sale, it's to the UK, but you don't know who it is, what they are, and quite often what they've even bought. So with you owning the customer and cutting out the middleman, it means on your site, exactly this person from this country bought this product. You know that they might be interested in the next book of the series. So you can use various things like Klaviyo marketing tools to really target them and help drive sales. Because at the end of the day, you are Amazon. Cutting out the middleman also obviously comes with its benefits. No longer are you having to pay Amazon to make your sale. You are kind of taking the full profit there, minus the fees of obviously setting up the website. Equally, if you're running something like ads, and I know that's kind of a bit more down the author journey, but if you are running ads with Amazon, you're directing them to the Amazon sale page, and all the way along the top, side, and bottom, they're trying to advertise other books. So you're paying to get the customer on the page, and they could potentially be going elsewhere to buy another book. With your website, you set it up exactly how you want it. So when a customer goes on there, they're not going to see any books, they're just going to see your books, making them more likely to buy. And the final thing as well, accessing funds immediately. So when you sell on Amazon and for Ingram and things like that, you generally get around payments 60 to 90 days. With selling direct, in some cases, if you use something like PayPal, you can get funds within 24 to 48 hours. So it's a really, more dynamic way of selling. You can reinvest that money to more ads to get more sales and so forth. You're not having to sit around waiting for it to come through. There we go. So is selling direct right for you? So obviously it is something that you've got to have books to be able to do, but equally it's very achievable as well. So a little example, which is a pretty bonkers example I like to use. Brandon Sanderson, he offered to do special editions with his traditional publisher. They declined, so he went and did it anyway on Kickstarter by himself. And this is one of his most recent projects in 2024. He got $41 million worth of pledges against 185,000 backers. So quite a considerable amount of people there backing his book. And you can imagine how much he made from each sale. It's much more than he would traditionally selling the paperback or hardback. A bit of a disclaimer, though. I mentioned it. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme as well. So we get a lot of people that listen to the talk or see us at events, go back and instantly think, if set up a direct store, they'll make thousands of dollars or pounds. That's not true. So it's really important to plan it out, do it at one step at a time, but also make sure you're there. So obviously you need at least one book to be able to sell direct. Equally, it helps if you have a really big, have a mailing list, because it helps you kind of have that initial organic traffic. You can reach out to your readers and tell them, hey, I was on Amazon, but I am also on Amazon, but now selling direct as well. I earn more. You should support me more by buying my book direct. Equally, you can do things, and we'll talk about it later, how you can entice people by doing special editions. One thing I do suggest, if you have chance, is to look at Joanna Penn, we'll talk about it a little bit more, but she did something called the minimal viable store. And effectively, she took her store and then added one bid at a time. So that's a great way of getting started. Equally, you need to spend time on it. Don't go rushing into anything. Make sure to set everything up correctly before you get going. With selling direct, there's a couple of different ways of selling direct. So we have three different ways, and we'll start off with book fairs. So book fairs are kind of one of the traditional ways, I would say, that authors have always sold direct. And I mentioned about going to an author signing earlier. It's a great way to engage with readers. So effectively, what you're doing is you're setting up a table. One big one that springs to mind, if any of you have been, is Reader Nation at the Author Nation conference. That is a fantastic way. You have a table, you can put roller banners up, you can dress up in cosplay related to your books, and it's a really good way of interacting with readers. When you're sending someone to your Amazon page, they're just seeing your A+ data and things like that. They're not seeing anything else. They're not speaking to you, and you can't kind of give them the sales pitch to buy your books. At a book fair, you can do exactly that. What you could also do is offer little upsales, so you can give out maybe a free bookmark or stickers when they buy your book. Equally, you can offer to sign the book as well. Some people like it, some people don't, but it's a really great way of enticing readers that maybe may have not looked at your content before. With that though, it's a very limited audience, so you're only obviously selling to the people that are in the room at that time. How Bookvault can help with book fairs. So we offer kind of short run printing as well. So if you go into a book fair, we're able to print the 50 copies of books and send them directly to you or your event as well. And something we're also able to do is you can build a cart. So effectively, you can order 20 of this book, 30 of this book, 10 of this book, and we'll send them all in one order directly to you. The next way, and I would say it's probably more the traditional way, that a lot of people see with selling direct is through e-commerce. So e-commerce is where customers set up their, or authors set up their websites to sell online. So what it does give you is a much broader reach, and it's certainly the closest to what you would be selling on the likes of Amazon. You can also automate through apps and plugins. So a lot of people are worried about having to have a kind of warehouse full of stock. You certainly can do that, but to start off with, it's much easier to use apps and plugins. So ourselves, we offer an app, and I'll go into that in a little bit. But equally, the likes of, I'd really recommend if you're selling ebooks, BookFunnel are a fantastic platform. And effectively, when a sale comes in, ourselves or BookFunnel will pick up those orders and deal with it and either send the book or the ebook directly to the reader. Equally, it's the start of your e-commerce empire as well. So it's the start of you kind of going against the likes of Amazon to try and earn more money. They are fantastic, but equally, you want to find the most profitable route for your books. So selling direct generally will bring a higher return than selling through a retailer. I mentioned it. So e-commerce platforms are fantastic, but equally they're very daunting. So there's a lot of things you can do, but also a lot of things you can make mistakes on. I'd recommend to make it easy to do one thing at a time. Joanna Penn has a great podcast and blog article on it as well, where she set up her Shopify, and it's called The Minimum Viable Store. And effectively, she set up one thing at a time and built up her store over time. What I generally recommend is, say you want to set up a direct store, maybe start off with a series, or start off with just selling ebooks to the US, or various things like that. There we go. So when I mentioned about platforms, we can sell on Shopify, WooCommerce, PayHip, or Wix, and we have applications for that. So effectively, when a customer gets to the checkout, we automatically tell them the shipping cost, so you don't have to set up your website. It will estimate the price, send the order directly to Bookvault, and print and ship it directly to them as well. So it kind of cuts out that middleman. And I say you don't have to worry about having a warehouse full of stock. It's all print on demand. So as and when that sale comes in, we print it and ship it to the customer. The final way we can sell direct about kind of with special editions is via crowdfunding. So that's taken off massively at the moment. I mentioned about Brandon Sanderson. But what it does is help target your super fans and take them on a journey. So what we see a lot of authors do is focus on their series, have everything pretty much ready, but then when they get their backers, they do what we call a backer update. And effectively, you can interact your readers, say, I've got 2 different covers. Which one do you want? And it kind of takes them on a journey of you publishing the book. That being said, you can also use it to refresh existing backlists. So we see a lot of authors take a book that they published a couple of years ago and relaunch it as a special edition. And when we look at selling direct and with special editions, it's all about, taking what you have written and trying to get the maximum from it. A lot of authors are worried once the readers bought the book, they're never going to buy it again. We've seen certain authors work with us, and we send the same book in a different format to them 5 or 6 different times to the same reader. It's when you have a super fan, they want to work with you and they will do everything they can to work with you, if that makes sense. So they want to buy everything you create. When we talk about selling direct, and this is where we get into the bespoke bits, customer acquisition could be quite costly. So whereas everyone goes on Amazon to find books, everyone's not going on your website. Your website's quite a small thing in the large concepts of the internet. So you've got to get authors on there. Readers on there, sorry. A lot of authors do it through ads and things like that. I mentioned you can use your mailing list, and that's a great organic way to get readers in. But Facebook ads can add a cost to selling your book. So one of the biggest things you need to do is look at increasing the average sale price. And when we talked about maximizing the profit from your intellectual property or your book, that's where we look at special editions, and we'll go into all the different aspects of what you can offer. So the first and probably easiest way to create a special edition is by creating a unique edition. So a special edition, a lot of people think has to have foil, has to have sprayed edges, has to have ribbons, etc. It doesn't. What you can do is just create a copy that is exclusive maybe to your website or exclusive to reader events and is something that they can't get elsewhere on Amazon. So we've seen a lot of authors do this through adding exclusive content. So maps, for instance, great for fantasy or various other genres, as well as character artwork as well. So a lot of places when you're printing, you have to do it in black and white. You can't really kind of, other than the cover, include imagery. What you can do, and especially with Bookvault, is include that within your artwork. So we do something called split color. So traditionally, when you're with a printer, you would pay for either black and white printing or color printing, especially with print on demand. With Bookvault, we do it a little bit differently. So I mentioned about the technology we've invested in. That enables us to charge you per color page. So as an example, with 200 black and white pages and 32 color pages, traditionally it would be $10.32 per copy. With Bookvault split color, it would be $4.92. So when we look at kind of creating a unique edition, you're able to add that. It probably adds maybe 10, 20 cents to the overall cost price of your book. But what it does do is stand you out from the likes of Amazon. And it's something that maybe it costs 20 cents more. You can charge $2, $3, $4 more, or make it a reason for people to come direct to you to earn more as well. An example of someone who did this really well, we worked with Joanna Penn. We've done quite a few of her most recent Kickstarters. I'm sure a lot of you know her. She did her book, The Pilgrimage, and effectively it was a standard kind of book with black and white printing, but at 3 points throughout the book, she included imagery to relate to her story. And what that does is help the reader follow on. When you're talking about a pilgrimage, you can describe it to the best of your ability, but nothing beats seeing an actual picture along the way. So using a slightly coated stock, it gave really vibrant colors to the book. And she included these throughout the copy of the title. And again, this was only available on either her website or the Kickstarter. It wasn't available from readers that bought the normal book on Amazon. Another really good way you can use special editions is through bundles. So again, it's something where you're not adding all the bells and whistles, but you are creating a higher level product than just selling the traditional black and white paperback on Amazon. So bundles have always been traditionally quite popular with ebooks. we find it is exactly the same with print books as well. So we talked about how maybe you're having to pay to get readers to go on your website and purchase the books. With bundles, you can split the acquisition cost of each sale against multiple products. So whereas maybe you're selling one book and having to pay £6 or $6 to get that author onto your website, a reader onto your website, if you sell 6 books, you're only taking $1 off each book, whereas taking $6 off the single sale. So what that does is just make it a lot more profitable and a much better way of a more sustainable way of getting people onto your website. You could choose to, we've seen a lot of people do different ways. You could offer the full series. So we've seen people offer books 1 to 6 of the series, or if you've got a long series, maybe books 1 to 3, 4 to 6, etc. You can equally offer, I've seen people do a first of the series bundle as well. So if you've got 5 or 6 different series, you can send them the first book of each series and try and get them hooked onto them. Equally, I mentioned Joanna's book earlier. She did a companion workbook with it as well. So not only did she sell the paperback, she also sold a coil-bound book along with it, and that asked questions throughout the reading of the book as well. So again, it's all ways of taking that sale and trying to get much from it as possible. Someone that we worked with that did this well was AP Beswick, Adam Beswick. So he's a dark fantasy author, and he's really big on TikTok and really homes in on direct sales, converting that TikTok watcher into a sale on his website. So he sells bundles. So you can see there he's got the Levantia series hardback bundle. And what he's doing is showing all the books available and offering a 20% discount. That's a good way of enticing people on to buying the bundle, but equally, you don't need to do that. We've seen a lot of people that are happy just for the convenience. They don't want a discount. They're just happy to just press one button and buy all the books. They don't need that there. But equally, a discount is a great way of maybe upselling, whereas someone was looking to buy book 1. If they know they can buy all the books with 20% off, it's going to save them in the long run. We've also seen people advertise it as buy books 1 to 8 and get 9 and 10 free. So it's all about wording and very marketing focused, but getting people up to get in there. I like to show examples. So we introduced the bundling feature in the middle of November 2023. Before that, he was averaging around $28 a sale. So you can see there in September and October, it was around $28. We introduced bundles middle of November, and you can see instantly his sales drove up to the point of December. He was going from around $28 to $50 per sale. We did originally think it could be because of the festive season. A lot of people buy more books for giving out as gifts, but those sales continued into January and February as well. So again, it showed that just by doing something simple, he was able to produce a much larger income from each sale. Setting up bundles with Bookvault is nice and simple. So effectively within the Bookvault platform, you'll have all of the books listed like you would on Ingram or KDP. When you create a product, you can choose to create a bundle. And effectively what you do is you add all the books you want, and we create you what we call a dummy ISBN or a dummy SKU. And what happens is when you order that ISBN or SKU, we take it and break it down into all 6 books again. So you've only got one product page, but that one product page turns into 6 products, if that makes sense. Something that is really exciting that we launched is actual physical box sets as well. So these are all, as everything, done as a print-on-demand basis. So there's no need to order 10, 15, 20, 100. We print them as and when they're needed. And effectively, on that platform, on our platform where you choose which books are in the bundle, you then have the option to create a box set. And we'll produce you a template similar to this. And effectively, you look at it as a book cover. So on the far right, you've got, you see that pink page and the purple page there, your front and back cover, and then the purple spine. And then we have the top and bottom plate as well. So you can design it however you want. And as and when those orders come, we print and ship them to the customer. So it's a really good way. Again, you can charge a customer a lot more for that because it is that premium feature and that premium special edition. Another thing that a lot of people are doing is forced edges. So forced edges are effectively when you have a book and you put ink really close to the edge of the paper and trim it down. it leaves a bit of ink through the page, so you can see it seeping through the paper. And if you do that on every page and slightly change the pattern each page, you then create the pattern like you've seen on the right. So on the left, you see what you would have around the outside of the book, and on the right is what would happen when the book's fully produced. What that does do is create quite an affordable way of having a sprayed edge-esque setup. But what it also does is produce quite a blurred image, so it's really not that vibrant. Especially also if you want to do a color book or a color sprayed edge or a color side edge, you'd have to pay for every page to be color, so it really adds to the cost. Because of that, we, as part of our bespoke offering, introduced sprayed edges. So this is an example of the machine. I've got a few videos of it working, but effectively we take the book, you produce the artwork around the edge of the book, and we print it directly onto the side of the book. So whereas you're having to put it into the actual kind of the front page of the book and all the page of the book around the outside, we print directly on the side. So as you open the book, it looks like just a traditional book. So hopefully the video shows. So effectively, we have two conveyor belts, and we print as if we were printing on the front of a page directly onto the side of the book as well. There you can see an example. And what you can see as well, that is a lot more vibrant than what we were looking on the previous slide, with it being kind of a black and white. A couple more examples as well. If you ever see it at a conference, we like to bring lots of shiny books with us. It really helps people draw to the stand. It does our job for us, which is great. But you can see that yellow book there, how vibrant it is compared to what you would get with a kind of forced edge and black and white thing, black and white edges around the edge. All of this, again, is on demand. So we don't have a minimum quantity. As and when the orders come through, we take those orders and print them and send them on. The only thing with bespoke books, traditionally with a kind of paperback and a hardback, you would normally expect them to be done in maybe kind of 2 to 5 days is what we aim for. With a bespoke book, it generally takes about 7 to 10 working days. You've got a little bit of extra time, but equally, your customers know that they're getting something that's a superior product, and they can understand, certainly with messaging, that this is being handmade. It's going to take a little bit longer, but what you get will be a much better product than the likes of a normal black and white book. How you design it, again, it's completely customizable. So you can either choose a color or you can design it like this. So generally, most cover designers are perfectly used to doing this, or you can have a go at it yourself. You design what you want on the top of the book, the side of the book, and the bottom of the book. And effectively, all we do is take that design and print it on the edge for you. One of the next things that we can offer, and this goes into more of the special edition-y stuff that you see maybe in the stores, is foiling. So I'm a bit of a magpie. A bit of shiny foil really catches my attention. So I'm always drawn to those sort of books. And what it does is give books a premium, unique finish. Generally, as an author, quite a lot of the way that people used to say they could traditionally see a author that's self-published compared to normal book kind of traditional publishing is if it's just a standard paperback, they can't get it on as an indie publisher. What we focused on is bringing that to the indie market. So all of our foiling, again, is done print on demand. There's no minimum quantities, so everyone has access to those publisher grade features. It's simple. So effectively, what you would design on your cover, you also design in foil, and we print it directly onto the cover. And I've got an example going forward. But equally, when we talk about selling direct, it helps make your book stand out. So again, when people buy on Amazon, they can't get this. Whereas if they buy it you at a book fair, or on Kickstarter, or on your direct store, they can. And it's a reason why they'll spend more, but equally why they'll buy from you direct as well. So an example of how it works, I mentioned, so we've got two cover files here. The bottom right one is a standard jacket, and the top left one is a foil file. So you can see on the bottom right, effectively, everything that you want foiling, we tell you to hide. And then on the far left file, everything you want foiling is in black. And effectively, the best way to look at it is we put your cover for another printer, and everywhere there's black is what gets printed in foil. So effectively, these two colors go together to create the foiled cover that you would expect. And to illustrate it a little bit more, I like videos of machines. Got a little video of the machine. So you can see there with the butterfly, that is a standard kind of cover that's come off our printer. We then send it through the big blue box. It puts a layer of varnish on there and then stamps a heat of foil. And that produces what you would expect with those foil accents. And on that, the accents around the butterfly and the lines and the text on the middle would all have been in black on that second file. And with all of this, it's a lot of information at once. Again, if you have any questions, you can book a meeting with us so we can give you some example files and point you in the right direction. Equally, we can also give you templates as well to help you along the way. Someone that did this really well, Amy Campbell, is a fantasy author, and she predominantly does Kickstarters. So she combined quite a lot of things. So we mentioned split color printing. Every chapter heading had a really nice color illustration, and you can see how that really pops out on the page. Equally, she had double page spreads of images as well. So you can see there, she had the double page with the dragon and the dog. But equally, you can see on her cover there, she had small accents. So it wasn't a lot of foil, but the stars really helped bring it out. And equally, she's got the sprayed edge there, which it just all comes together really nice. With the foil, we offer 8 different colors now. So we've got holographic, which is like a rainbow. It captures a different color at the light. Gold, silver, green, bronze / copper, red, blue, and then pink as well. And then we also offer spot UV, which is like a clear varnish, so it highlights things, and that's traditionally what you would see with published books. Some of the final options that you can do to increase the return on your books as well with special editions is ribbons. So ribbons are what you would normally see with the little ribbon bookmark. Equally, printed end papers as well. So when you open a hardback book, normally the inside pages would be white or cream, depending on the paper you choose. With printed end papers, you can actually print on them. So when you open a book, you'll see the color on the inside of the book straight away. And that's really good for if you're doing maps again. Quite a lot of fancy authors on the end paper have a map of the series. So as they're reading through, they can revert back to the front of the book to see about the story. Equally, character artwork as well. It works really nicely. You can have a really cool scene at the back of the book based on the whole story. So there's lots of different ways you can do it. Equally, head and tail bands. It's something that's less seen in the industry, but is another good thing. So traditionally, when books were printed, they were normally sewn in sections, effectively with literally a sewing needle, sewing sections of the book. So when they open and bound together, you got that little stitching at the end. Now with print on demand, we generally use a hot glue just for ease and cost. But what you can do is use a head and tail band to stick over that glue so it looks like it's been traditionally printed. And it's a really good way of just kind of upping the, I guess, class or the perceived value of the book as well. An example I've got of this, Ruby Rowe or Sasha Black, she is a lesbian fantasy romance writer, and she did her first couple of Kickstarters for us. So she did the special edition of House on the Crimson Hearts, and effectively she had a holographic cover as well as a holographic inner printed cover as well. So she had a jacket which is wrapped around the hardback, both with holographic foil. You can see the first book page you saw of her book is the vampire mouths. And again, it just really emphasizes the quality of the book. And then she also had head and tail bands and the ribbon as well. And she was selling each copy for £65 per copy. So she, you know, if you're selling that as a normal paperback on Amazon, it would be, say, £9.99 or something along those. Upping it to £65 per copy, you're making so much more return from each sale. And this is what we're kind of talking about. It's all about not selling as many, but selling more quality and at a higher price. So instead of selling 100 paperbacks for £1 profit, you can sell 10 paperback special editions or hardback special editions with £10 or £20 profit, equally earning you more from that sale as well. End papers are completely customizable again. So we have our templates. I'll go through how you generate those in a second. But effectively, you have the inside cover, page 1, page 2, and then the second to last, an inside back cover. And same as you would do with a cover or an interior, you can design them exactly how you want, and we will produce them to whatever you require. The final way, and it's not something that Bookvault's able to help with as such at the moment, but it is equally something we're looking at, but something to really look at as an author is book boxes. So book boxes kind of incorporate special editions, but also add a bit more to further increase that sale price. So with book boxes, you're targeting super fans. So we mentioned about or readers will buy every edition, a super fan will buy every edition that you release. What you can do is release a special edition, but then release a book box with exclusive content. And again, that same reader will buy the second book, not to read, but to have and to support you as an author. You create an experience for the reader as well. So we'll look at an example, but we have a lot more focus on kind of what people want in there. So you could do, I've seen a really cool example of someone doing a book box for each book in the series. The first book box, you get a bracelet and a charm. And then throughout each book and each book box you buy, you get an additional charm all relating to the stories. And you can really work with some more independent retailers as well. So quite a lot of people work with on Etsy, a lot of retailers there you can work with them to get them to make custom items for your Kickstarter and things like that. So it's another way of supporting another indie community as well. And what it also does is target the gifting market. So whereas traditionally a reader will be buying a book for themselves when they're buying just a single book, with book boxes, quite often super fans will buy books for their friends. So if they really enjoy a book, and they don't want to just buy a book for Christmas for a friend, they'll buy the book box because it's more of a giftable product. And again, it helps you build that profit up on each sale. An example of someone who does this really well, Angela J. Ford. So effectively, she created a book box on her direct store. She sold the hardback book for $29.99 and the book box for $55. And what she did was she included a bit of shredded paper. She did some nice bookmarks, some character artwork, as well as a poster, some stickers. And then what I really like as well, she did a unique candle scent to each book as well. So as you're reading the book, you can light the candle and it just creates a better atmosphere. Again, it's just little neat things you can do there to really make it a more a greater experience, and again justify that higher price bracket. To conclude, when we talk about how to sell direct editions and special editions, there's two different ways you can do it. Limited time, and that's generally for crowdfunding. So when we look at crowdfunding, normally you have a 2, 3, or 4 week period of which someone has to back it. If they don't back it within that period, then they lose out the chance to get that book. And what that does is create a time-sensitive offering. So you'll quite often get readers that back it because they know if they don't, it's the fear of missing out. They're never going to get it again, and they need to get it there and then, else they won't at all. You can also utilize stretch goals as well. So with Kickstarter, you can say, if I reach $10,000, I'll add this feature. 20,000, I'll add this feature. And so what we see a lot of authors do is price the book up as if they're adding everything: sprayed edges, foil, bookmarks, etc. And then only add it when it hits a certain goal. So if you don't reach those goals, you're earning more per copy. But if you do, all your costs are covered. And that's a really important thing. We see a lot of people that will price up a special edition and then put it on Kickstarter and say, if I hit this amount, I'll give sprayed edges, not thinking about the cost of sprayed edges and then making a loss on each sale. So that's really important and something to be careful of. And finally, it creates a spike of income. So you've got to be really careful as a reader. As a writer, you would normally, obviously, it would be a high for launch, but then slowly dip down. With Kickstarter, you get one payment and that's it. So if you're doing that as your release strategy, you've got to make sure that you sustain your profits and spread them out over time. Final one is general sale. This works really well for the likes of Shopify and things like that. It's less intense marketing. So when you're doing a Kickstarter, in that 2 weeks, you've got to hammer out emails and get people to go quickly to your store, quickly to your Kickstarter page and buy it there and then. With general sale, you can take a bit more time, maybe send out an email and then do a Facebook post in a couple of weeks' time and really spread it out. It does make it less intense marketing though. So you've got it does make it potentially less desirable as well though. So what we see is a lot of people, if they've not got that fear of missing out, they'll put it in their cart and maybe forget to come back. So you've really got to weigh up which one works best with your reader base. To conclude, with what special editions and what the costs are, I mentioned about our quoting tool. So on the website, you can get an instant quote, and effectively you can add all the special edition items on, and it'll tell you exactly how much it is to print. It will also give you all the templates as well. So what I mentioned before and showed you all the templates, you can download those and get your designer to help, or equally you can do them yourselves, and it'll tell you exactly how to do them. And again, if you do have any questions, you can always reach out to the team and we'll be able to help. A final thing, I mentioned that we are very innovative and like to do lots of different things. I like to add a bit at the end about what we're going to be doing as well, because that's a big thing for a lot of authors to plan with their journey. We're focusing on pod merchandising. So we already offer for a separate company the ability to print mugs and bookmarks and things like that. So we want to bring that. So as an author, you can go to one place to get everything. Equally, kitting for book boxes. So we will take in pin badges and things like that and help you fulfill your Kickstarters. And the final thing as well is signed book plates. So we're hoping to offer that in the fact that you can sign 100 book plates and we'll put them in the book as and when they're sold as well. We'll go over to some questions. There is also a promo code there as well. So we generally charge a title upload fee per sale. A title upload fee per title added to the platform. That's solely to stop people uploading low content book. We had an instance where we launched a platform and someone uploaded 20,000 books, all with different pictures of kittens on, over a space of a weekend, and absolutely destroyed everyone's chances of selling on retailers and things like that. So we generally ask people to pay for a title upload. From this webinar, if you use code Scrivener T100, all caps, all one word, it'll give you free title uploads as well there. So there's no need to pay that fee. And equally, if you're a member of the Alliance of Independent Authors or IBPA or things like that, they have unlimited free title uploads. So it's worth checking them out as well. And then, yeah, hopefully hand over to Oliver some questions.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Alex. That was incredible. I'm so excited about how the direct selling community, self-publishing community. I feel like you guys are adding a great new resource. This is really exciting to see what you guys are doing here. Let me pull up some of these questions here. Got some good questions. So we have Felicity's asking, does Bookvault handle any photograph-heavy nonfiction books? And if so, are they significantly more expensive to produce?
So it depends really how in depth they are. So with that, it's a perfect example of reaching out to our support team. So if you send it out, the example of the file, we can give you the direction of which print option to choose and things like that. So we offer two different printing options: standard printing, which generally works for 99% of all books, and we do a lot of photo books through our inkjet because of how it produces kind of quality books on coated paper. But equally, we do also premium printing as well. So I mentioned about that printer with a massive toilet roll. We also do traditional digital printing, which is sheet fed and a bit of a higher quality as well. So I would say reach out to the team, give them an example of some of the pages, and we'll be able to put you in the correct direction of which print option to choose. Certainly, premium printing does add a little bit more cost, but then with those books, generally you can have a higher RRP as well. So it works both ways. It's not going to be astronomical, but equally it will be a little bit more.
Perfect. Okay. Well, Annie is asking, so what is the recommendations for selling direct to the EU, I guess the European Union, with all their various regulations? Do you have any advice for her?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, we love the EU. It's great, all good fun. We recommend there's a company that we work quite closely with called EAS Project. I'll just see if I can quickly grab a link for them. But effectively, they are a little plugin that sits in between the checkout and the customer. And when they get to the checkout, it applies any taxes to the checkout page, similar to what it would do in the US with sales tax. And when that happens, they send us across a code that we put on the label. And when that label gets shipped to the EU, it tells them that the duties have been paid and it just goes straight through. So there's no kind of hold up there. And then all you do as an author is they tell you at the end of the month, you owe us $85 in tax, and you pay it and it gets sent to all the relevant countries. So it's a really good resource to look at for selling direct to the EU.
Great. Just so I can, I don't know if you tried to move it in your screen and we couldn't see it. What was the name of
Yeah,
the
I'm
plugin
just gonna
again?
put it in the chat. Yeah,
Okay,
ES
perfect. There
project.
we Yes, projects. Excellent. Okay, we got that for thank you. Okay, so we also have here, but let's see what happened to that one. Okay, so here's a good question. So this one, this is a Scrivener response web, and they're asking how we could use
Yep,
Scrivener with Bookvault. And so I'm guessing I'm going to kind of expand on that question. If I'm writing a
yep.
book in Scrivener and I'm ready to publish this thing, right? What format am I uploading my book on to Bookvault to do all that fun stuff? And that
Yeah,
can
so
make
generally we require print ready PDFs. So as long as you can export a PDF, we're kind of ready there.
Gotcha. So print ready PDF. So if Jenna, if you're using Scrivener, you could actually export it as a PDF file. That being said, you might want to use like an external app, like say like Vellum, to get some really nice formatting and different things. Not to say
Yeah.
that you can't do that in Scrivener, you can. There are options in the compile menu, but it could be significantly more complicated in the compiler versus like another dedicated app that really, that does that really well.
Certainly what we see a lot of people do, certainly for a first draft, they prefer having a physical copy that they can highlight and scribble through. So we see a lot of people just exporting the base PDF,
Okay.
and then just printing a single copy, because you can upload your files and change your files as and when you need them. There's no cost to that. So people upload the first
Great.
draft so that they can play around with it, scribble it out, and then maybe put it into Vellum for the final copy to then send out for readers. So there's various ways you can look at it.
Great. Thank you, Alex. That's perfect. But let's see here. So Olga's asking, does BookVault have options made with eco-friendly binding and inks, like soy ink or bindings that can decompose? That's kind of an interesting one.
Yeah, it's something we are looking at. Sadly, with the machinery we have, for instance, the printer is it costs around 1.8 million pounds to produce. So we wouldn't be able to change the ink it would cause contamination there. So we can't do that at the moment. But we are working with manufacturers to see what we can do. All of our papers are FSC and PSC accredited, so they're all kind of sustainably forest. We do also do a lot of carbon offsetting as well. So we plant trees with borders and offset the carbon of our production facility as well. Um, Quite a considerable amount of it, but it is something that is a big hot topic at the moment. It's something we want to look at further. I know it's on our 2026 roadmap to see how we can help further with that. Certainly internally as well, our facility was what we call a BREEAM-free compliant facility. So it's not fully powered by solar, but there's a lot of solar panels on the roof, as much as we could fit. And we work very carefully to be sustainable there.
Perfect. Now, Max is asking, so he was looking at your website, checking pricing and all that fun stuff, and he said he wanted to arrange shipping to Poland, and he didn't see that option. Is there just some countries you're unable to ship to at this point, or is it a
So we
bug? He's
definitely
just wondering.
possibly a bug. Yeah, we do ship to Poland. It could have been that. So we list our print facilities. So we got them in US, Canada, Australia, and then the UK. Orders to Poland would come from the UK, so that potentially could be the confusion there. But again, any questions like that, if you reach out to the support team, they'll certainly be able to help because we definitely can. And we can either do one book or we can send about 500 to them. So yeah, should be fine.
Okay, perfect. Leah is asking, how would a special edition that includes a bundle with more than one author work? And she says, I mean more than one author's books. I guess she's not meaning like they're the same author, two different authors writing one book, maybe two authors working together to sell their books in a bundle together. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, it's that's not something we natively support. We have seen authors do it where they will create a separate account between themselves and kind of upload it there and do it that way. But that's not something I've heard of before as a suggestion, but actually would be a really good feature. So I'll
That's
take
kind
that
of a
away
cool
to the
idea.
team and see. Yeah, certainly kind of collaborating with different people's accounts and on different stores would be a really cool feature.
Excellent. Great. And okay, let's see here. Well, let's see. Someone's put something in the chat. Okay, so Phil's asking, when you do the book box, does the author provide the stickers, mugs, teas, etc., or do you guys help? I heard you say you created some of those things, right? Or you have options for some of that
Yes.
stuff, right?
Yeah, so we have a sister company called Photobubble in the UK, and effectively, it kind of is a rival to Snapfish. So we do your mug printing, tote bags, and things like that. So the hope is that we will offer that service. So if you wanted to, as your order comes in for a book and a and a tote bag, we'd print both of those at the same time, print on demand, and then send them out. But equally, the hope is with book boxes is that we would allow an author to send us stuff. So if they wanted to make some custom pin badges, or I mentioned those kind of beads for a bracelet, they would send those in. We would look after them, and then when the order comes in, we would put it in the package, if that makes sense. Because there is certain things that we just can't produce on demand.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, well, great. Well, looks like that's all the questions, and we're right at time. I just want to say thank you so much, Alex, for this outstanding presentation. It was a lot
Thank
to
you for
learn. I
having
learned a
us.
lot. I've even seen your presentation before. Like I've learned some new things. This is great. And yeah, thank you so much. Is there anything like last minute thing you'd like to just throw out there before we wrap up here?
Uh, Not really. No, as I say, yeah, feel free to use the promo code. But equally, I can't stress enough if you do have any questions, because I know it's a lot of information in a short amount of time. Just book a call with the team, and they will certainly be able to help out.
Great. Perfect. And I see Leah's asking real quick. Yes, there will be a replay. We'll get that posted. I'll send out emails, all that fun stuff. So this was recorded. So if you missed anything, you came in late, don't worry. We'll get you taken care of. We'll get you the replay and you can watch the whole thing from the start. So thank you so much, Alex. Thank you so much, everyone, for
Thank you so
coming.
much for coming. Yeah, yeah. Thanks everyone for coming, and thank you for having us.
Yep.
And
Okay.
hopefully
Sounds
the
good.
snow gets better. Yeah.
Yes, just hopefully all the snow melts. I'm hoping I can get it all melted before Wednesday, but it's a far cry. I got like 6 inches out there. Okay, well, we'll see you, Alex. Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. Bye.
Yep. Bye, everyone.